Now, to give us more insights on this story, we are being joined by Sandeep Ghosh from Kochi, Kerala. He is an author and political commentator. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. I want to ask you, do you think the latest defeat of Congress in the state elections has put the entire India alliance in a tricky position? All right, Mr. Ghosh, we seem to be having an audio issue with you at the moment. We'll try to reconnect with our guest, Sandeep Ghosh, who was trying to join us live from Kochi. Now, for those of you who are joining us on this broadcast now, we are talking about the India alliance being at the moment. All right, we are being told that Mr. Ghosh has joined us back. Mr. Ghosh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, great. If you heard my question, I was trying to ask you, do you think the latest defeat in the state elections by Congress has put the entire India alliance in sort of a jeopardy?
It's not a jeopardy, but I expect a lot of readjustments and recalibrations to happen going forward. You know, they try to put together the alliance when I think it was a bit premature. It was more a statement of intent, or shall I even say not even intent, it was wishful thinking when bringing people together. They thought by that they'll be able to ratchet up some sentiment, anti-BJP consolidation. But it was, if you see theoretically, it had a major fallacy in it, because any alliance would be based on a premise of give and take, adjustments. So people have to eat. Now, when you're talking of regional parties, say in a state like West Bengal, which you just alluded to, where Congress doesn't have any presence. Now, if Trinamool Congress has to give up some seats to Congress, what do they get in exchange? Because Trinamool does not have presence in the rest of India. And therefore, what that do? Therefore, essentially, Trinamool, which has an X number of presence in the center, they will be just giving away the seats without anything in return. And that will weaken their bargaining position even within that alliance. So there were a lot of, I think, there was no real thinking through. They felt that bringing them together, that will sort of cobble up gather a momentum of anti-BJP sentiment. People will think there is an option, and therefore it will change the dynamics. Now, all that has come, unraveled far too soon with these elections.
Right.
And so, therefore, there will be, and only thing I'll add is, you see, each one today are concerned about their own survival. Like everywhere else in life, in politics also, the shelf life of people have shrunk. So a lot of these older leaders are pretty close to their sell-by date, and therefore they can't really take a chance of doing something now and being out of power for 5 years. By then there'll be history, they'll be irrelevant. So people will do something by which either they cut their losses or they try to make the most of a bad bargain.
Right. Speaking of that, sir, what kind of course correction do you expect, not just Congress, but the entire India alliance to make in the coming 5 to 6 months?
See, first of all, Congress's biggest problem is it cannot think of itself other than being the main opposition party, the numero uno, or, not even the first among equals. They want to be de facto the leader. And therefore, while they'll say, no, we are all equal, we'll decide on the prime minister face later on, but they immediately start projecting, say, Rahul Gandhi as a prime minister in waiting. Now, they have an existential crisis. BJP, for example, they would have factored in both possibilities of their winning or losing these state assembly elections. They would have had their script ready. Had they lost more states, what would have been their script? What would have been their strategy? Now that they've won, they also had a script ready for that. But you look at Congress. Congress is totally at a loss even how to respond to this thing, because they just simply assumed after the Karnataka victory and the so-called Bharat Jodo Yatra that they were on a roll. So right now they don't have an answer. There is all kind of contradictory responses from their own people. Somebody is blaming EVM, somebody is
Right.
blaming regional leaders, somebody saying that it's not South divide, and the rest of it. So they are at a loss. So they will have to, and this hardly 2 months to go, between now and when you'll have the model code of conduct and the elections declared. So you might see, therefore, a lot of alignments, configurations. You may find many more of these. What's happened, say, in Maharashtra of a Shiv Sena or a NCP, that kind of reconfigurations happening. Even Telangana. Don't be surprised before 2024 if a BRS comes into some kind of a tacit or open adjustment with BJP for their own survival. So you'll see a lot more of these things.
You make some very interesting points there, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you so much for joining us here on WION. I'm completely out of time, but thank you so much for giving us all those insights.
My pleasure. Thank you.